in this space right here, where the cars are parked, existed the island. We had to make our own music scene.
I quickly referred to it as Parasite Island. I don't think Phil appreciated that. Oh, okay. But I thought that made it more punk.
Well, now you can all laugh about it.
If you like the concert, buy the videotape.
Oh, it changed my life. I mean, not necessarily for the better.
When the cops came in and all the teenagers going and hiding in the chair closet on the corner on the side there, because we figured that's where the cops wouldn't see us.
Lying on my back on the bar, we had a buddy who was a bartender, and if he was your friend and Phil wasn't around, you could lie on the bar and open your mouth and he'd fill it up with whatever.
My favorite memory, of course, is not dying in a fire. The place was a glorious fire trap, badly wired. There's open ground. It was astonishing number of people we could get in to the island on a given weekend.
About where you think the front door was? Yeah, about.
I'd say that the edge of the driveway is the edge of the building.
Yeah, get 10 feet for the alleyway, and then there was an office.
This is where the bar was, so this is where I worked. The door was, over there about maybe 10 feet away. There was like a little hallway that you would walk into where you would get like your little ticket booth or your hand stamped or, whatever, your ID checked. And come in and enter the bar right here. And then it was kind of raised up a little bit, so we were up higher than everybody. And it was probably about 12 feet long, and it went all the way down and then curved around kind of close to where the restrooms and stuff were.
Yeah, there was a couple bathrooms there. They were just rooms. I don't know, so, punk clubs, it's kind of a different thing, than most bathrooms that you see.
Lots of great shows, dirty, smelly, horrible, wonderful.
You would walk in and there would be pool tables up front, and then the bar, and then the dance floor would extend all the way to where the dumpster is now.
Oh, it was so atrocious at first. They had a carpet that hung between the bar and where they had pool table area, and then this carpet, this horrible carpet that you had to kind of shove aside to get into the actual club where the tables were in the stage. But it was such a great dive and such a fun place to go, and it felt very comfortable because we were all kind of outcast together, and that's what the island really was.
I guess I'm kind of standing where the sound booth would have been, or close to it, and
so the stage would be behind you?
Right, I guess so. Yeah, the stage would be behind me, I guess, and it was, yeah, the sound booth was just a little wooden thing around, some plywood around an area that you could run out of and right onto the stage to do what you needed to do, and so.
I guess that's definitely leads to there. Probably Jerry falling through the ceiling. But I think just getting in when I was only 14 years old was a pretty good memory, And drinking when I was 14, but can't go wrong there.
And what impact?
Well, I mean, I went there every single day. I went to the island after work. I'd stand up all day and cut hair, and then I would go to the island in my little pointies, like 1950s pointy high heels, and dance all night and throw beer bottles. And I did it every night and for years, and it just felt like home. So this is home, I just went there every day, and everybody in the island was my friend and my family in a way, because we all trusted each other and we all knew each other really well, and we all still know each other. As you can see, we're still hanging out together and loving each other and having an okay time. It's good. It's a good thing.
Cool.
And she's a fan, huh?
Yeah, really.
That's the first thing I noticed about her. Yeah.
Then or now?
I stole her from a Ramones show at the On the Border.
Right.
At the On the Border show.
I used to wear a lot of skirts, and Jared would always lift them up, and the audience loved that a
So
whole
they
lot.
loved that stuff, that's for sure. She had her own little bunch right out front, and I never failed to I never disappointed them.
Right.
My favorite one was the first time that I ever went there. And it was to go see a band called TSOL, True Sounds of Liberty, that had come from Los Angeles. We were so excited about going there because we saw a flyer at our local mall, which is Memorial City, way out in the suburbs. And since then, I've never seen another punk rock flyer there. It was totally random. So we went there, and we were so excited. We got there like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know what we were thinking. We just couldn't contain ourselves. We just couldn't wait till like 10 o'clock at night or something. We went there, and the band was already there. They had showed up, I guess, to do sound check, and so we just walked in, and nobody said anything. We were kind of looking around, and they were in there already drinking beer. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I remember they were already drinking. And then I think we hung out for a while, and we left and got something to eat. We came back, and the show after that was just like a blur. It was so great.
Basically transition the whole 80s thing. I mean, it was survival. It was the way we'd survived. I mean, there was Joe Compositores and all those other things that were going on in Houston, and it was a way to survive and deal with all the problems that we dealt with the Reagan years.
Probably making out with a couple of guys somewhere on the dance floor.
You remember the bands?
I used to love to see Really Red.
The person I am today was a little bit formed by those days.
Exploded my music, mindset. I was looking at Sound Warehouse for import records when AOR rock had kind of gone its course, and so I started looking at some of the stuff coming in from London, you know, the place to get that fix was the Islands.
It impacted the way I dressed and thought about our government a little bit harder. Gave me a little bit more social awareness.
Okay, let me scan your legs here. There. Okay.
One of my favorite people. So, Phil Hicks was a really, really nice guy. He was very quirky. You know, I would say sometimes I would think, you know, in hindsight, looking back, maybe even like a bit autistic or something. You know, he actually, you know, when Richard approached him about doing that, you know, he let us go in there and take over. He was very father-like. He always made sure when we were okay, took care of us, made sure that we had food to eat, you know, while at work and stuff. He actually lived in the bar. There were pool tables, which no one ever used. I don't even know if there were pool balls and pool cues, but there were pool tables in there. And they probably removed the balls and cues because it would have been dangerous. But and Phil would pull out a mattress and sleep on the pool tables during the week. And then, you know, Friday night we'd come in and we'd kind of like, you know, pick up his socks and underwear from around the bar, you know, on the floor, and clean up all the kind of little messes and stuff and hide the mattress back and get ready to go.
Well, Phil Hicks was not real keen on the idea. He was still looking for something a little more sophisticated, but economics dictated that no one was going to come down to this.
Phil Hicks was the manager of the place. He wanted it to be a rock club. He wanted to have waitresses, and because that's what I thought was really exciting. You know, there was, I think Phil kind of got tired of doing the local bands, and then he got really hot on having a lot of Austin bands. And then later on, I think when he just started getting approached by Tom Bunch and Richard Tom Kalla, he started getting national touring acts. You know, you'd see, you'd see some bands that were just starting out. I came in here and REM only had 3 people in the audience.
Stage diving.
Yeah.
First time I was probably 100 pounds, so I didn't think anybody would catch me. Of course, everybody did.
At the time, we never really embraced the idea of community, but having the benefit of a few years on me, it's really nice to run into people from the Houston punk rock scene that I used to see on a weekly basis, even if I see them on a semi-annual basis now.
I got in a lot of trouble.
But I remember the social awkwardness of the island. I tell you, people were really not knowing what to do, and so they got their information probably from, I don't know, MTV. It wasn't around by then. So the thing was, it's probably like music magazines from London. So people would, girls would take their father's shirts and like scrawl slogans on them and band names, and wear tights, and the guys were wearing skinny ties and jackets, and there was pogoing happening. And
glad I was here and there.
Let me see. There's so many, but there was a. I think I talked about this at some point earlier, that there was a persistent rumor at one point that I had had sex on the roof of the island with a prominent female vocalist from a local band, which is not true. We actually only did it in my parents' car in the island parking lot next to a police car.
We got shirts for sale. These are free because the cat slept on them.
Short pony wall, which was kind of a good idea as a divider, but then it was also a bad idea because people would be in the mosh pit dancing, and there were quite a few accidents, you know, where people would get pushed into the pony wall. I know that Diana Ray from the Midals actually got pushed and knocked her front teeth out one night on that wall. And then the punk rock community came together and had a benefit to buy her new teeth, and I think the name of the event was Butts with Teeth, and everybody raised money to get Diana 2 new teeth for that night, which was right. And
it's the island's a real long room, and the bar was here in the back and the stage was in the front. And one night I was talking to the bartender, Kat, and some band I'd never heard was getting ready to play. And we were talking like we usually did, she and I, and this band started, and it was the craziest sound I'd ever heard. And I just remember like whipping my head around and going, who is that? And that was the Butthole Surfers. And that was the first time they played at the Island, the first time they ever played in Houston. And their sound was just so different. It was probably Paul Leary going crazy, singing some wacky thing, and Gibby playing. That was when they were just a 4-piece and they didn't have the 2 drummers. But I just remember that moment because I remember my head whipping around and just thinking, wow, I've never heard anything like this before. What is this?
Okay, thank you guys for being here. And by that I mean thank you for still being here, because some of us are not.
A place where you could go and express yourself and not worry about what people thought. Everybody there was different but the same. And creativity, artistic freedom, and just being accepted. I guess being an all-girls band.
And my dolls and all that stuff, it was part of that swirl that was the center of my life for about 6 years here in Houston. That was where everything happened, and I was normally there 2 weekends a month, you know, maybe more frequently than that, because there was always something going on there, and you never knew what it was going to be. Not exactly. So, yeah, it was a good place.
To me, that is the greatest gift that the island gave me. It was friendships and people who I still, when I run into them or, you know, I'm friends with them on Facebook, it's just, that's a wonderful, priceless thing that you can make friendships in a club, this dank and bizarre little dive bar that had been a disco, you know, it had been a Mexican disco.
Thank you. Good evening. Hey, look, I got another Dorito pick. Who wants one? Fucking vintage 80s Dorito picks right here, man. I'm telling you.
Changed my life.
It was completely a mind-blowing, life-changing situation because I was a kid from the suburbs and I had never met anybody who was different. I knew I was different because I stopped going to high school like the last half a year. I just couldn't do it anymore. I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like I was a part of it. And then all of a sudden I'm in with a group of people who are, you know, just as freaky as I am, you know, and I loved it. It made a huge difference in my life. And the people I met that summer, most of them, the ones that are still alive, are still my friends, and I still love them. And that's where I made my lifelong friends, was, you know, starting then. So.
But I got to listen to a lot of good music, and most of my friends used to pretty much live there, and joined a band and had a good time at the island.
It just changed what I was listening to. I grew up as a teenager in the 70s and listened to a lot of, you know, 70s rock, and here was this whole other thing. A friend of mine from California was introducing me to bands like the Dead Kennedys and just the whole alternative music scene. I was like, oh my God, there is something else going on. This is great. I don't know what it means, but I love it.
I used to read about punk rock, you know, back in 77, 76. I used to subscribe to Cream and Rolling Stone and reading about punk rock and Iggy. We never heard of it, you know, and then all of a sudden punk rock started getting bigger, and I was listening to K101, the rock station. It was New Wave night, you know, and luckily I saw Legionnaire's Disease, and they changed my life. I mean, it was just like, this is what punk rock is.
And we're here at the Fitzgerald on a special night. Tell us about it.
Well, it is the Axiom's 25th anniversary year. We opened Halloween night, or reopened Halloween night, or the actual opening, 25 years ago. And I got a bunch of bands together, paintings, several bands. This band from LA flew in, you know, at their own expense, because that's how much, you know, we were all part of this amazing scene. You know, it was sort of like the Island, but it got a little bigger because it was more, you know, accessible, and people were realizing what was going on.
Cool. And tell us a little bit more about the Axiom.
Live shows, but there wasn't a club like the Island where it felt like family and people can hang out. It was either a great night or a bad night. Both nights were awesome because it was just unique. And I brought that to the Axiom. I felt like, you know, I brought that as well as like art. I wanted to combine performance art, you know, visual art, you know, and total free expression of music, and that was the mission, you know, and Houston needed it because there wasn't anything like that here. I'd been traveling to New York and San Francisco and saw these amazing venues and some amazing bands, and I thought, man, I had the cash, so I thought, why not? So I did it.
So how many years after the Island closed did the Axiom open?
The Island closed in '83 of, what was it, May, or I don't know. The Island closed early '83, and like it went through a few, like Cabaret Voltaire and a few other places, but the Axiom opened in '87, and it wasn't only to provide a venue for other bands. I was in a band as well, so we all needed a place to hang out, you know. And I just felt like I was able to do it, and I did it.
From 1980, I was an intern at the Houston Post, and a reporter was working on some of that newfangled music. And from the first night I walked in, I fell in love with the music and the community, because ultimately it sounded like I felt. And photographed a lot of touring bands, a lot of the local bands. The place was just a dark pit. And so I'd bring in like 30-year-old studio lights and mount them up in the ceiling. And I would basically light the entire room. And so that's how I ended up with that shot of the Bobby Sox with sticking the microphone on his butt, and all the people were just laughing their asses off. And it was like, you know, Gibby was there from the Butthole Surfers in the crowd, and it just had this really interesting energy.
The Island's one of the highlights of my life, you know, and I'm one of the filmmakers involved with this production right now, and for all of us, it's just a passion project, a love project. It's, you know, it's us being eternally young.
Dead Kennedys, Butthole Surfers, Really Red, and Doomsday Massacre.
Dead Kennedys, Really Red, Legionnaire's Disease.
I saw Black Flag there play 2 nights in a row. That was like a religious experience for me. Yeah, it was fucking amazing. And then I saw them play there again later, and DRI actually got to open for Black Flag at some point during that time too.
Legionnaire's Disease and the Hates was the first show I saw. I liked. I remember Flipper and Culture Side being really good, and a bunch of Legionnaire's Disease shows, and I think I saw the Huns. I saw Vast Majority.
That gave yourself mentality. It wasn't one niche band. There were all sorts of different bands, different styles. You know, it's really cool. Like, remember Random Culture, Might All, Volume 9, Sticks, Big Balls, Big Boys, I mean. Really Red. You know.
Really Red was great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Big Boys to Dicks. Big Boys to Dicks, Sustains, and D-Day. It's just everyone got on stage, Last song always closed out by D-Day every time you asked me out.
Black Flag. I got introduced to Black Flag at the Island, and they were awesome. And Henry Rollins, and I read all his books, and he's a very inspiring person. And saw some other good stuff there, Flipper, Legionnaires' Disease, other good stuff. And lots of moshing and thrashing and everything. And I also saw Narcs and Squealers and at least one major coke bust.
Right here. All right. This was Bobby Sox, stickmen with ray guns. We had opened Jerry Falwell, the Vibrating Crosses, the Butthole Surfers had played, and then Bobby Sox came on, and of course everybody trashed them because they were so terrible, but they were so good that you had to trash them. It was that spit on them if you love them. Anyway, when he shoved the mic up his ass and farted, everybody kind of was like, okay, we've been topped. You win. And
probably when the big boys were playing and the police got called, and our very favorite lawyer got us out, our punk rock lawyer, like saved the day and talked the police out of arresting everybody. That's one of my favorites.
Well, it was inspiring because it was real, and it was a chance to hear and see people that were really out there doing their thing instead of what the record company told them to do, and weren't trying to make pop hits, they were trying to make statements. So I thought that was excellent. Because I come from the 60s where they made a lot of statements and they made a lot of music, and it's not the same, but it's sort of the same. Because they were real and they were out there and they were putting out their message.
It's so weird. You usually remember the good parts, but I remember the bad part. I remember playing there and trying to sing, and every time my mouth touched the mic, I was getting shocked like a motherfucker. In the early punk days, you know, there was no hardcore yet. There was no. What?
There was no place to go.
No. I mean, you know, it was cool that it was there initially.
Boom in this anti-KKK stuff. And so we played our little solid waste division stuff, and people loved us. And all of a sudden I noticed like police walking through, and they were looking like pit bulls ready to bite. So I said, let's get the fuck out of here. I did, and then I found out the next day something like 18 or 20 people got hauled down to the police station. So my favorite that's my second favorite one. Opening night, there I was, opening night.
One was a guy dressed in a black jacket like a punk, you know, like everybody knew this is not, you know, nobody knew him, and it wasn't really, you know, it was like kind of fake looking. And there was a girl with him also, and apparently these were undercover cops. So I was up on stage getting ready, I guess setting up mics. I remember doing something, getting ready for the show, you know, cleaning off the stage, whatever. And basically I remember seeing about 5 or 6 blue shirts come in the front door, and that guy who was dressed like a punk, he stuck a gun in my side and said, turn off the sound now. I just had some music playing, whatever. Stuck a gun in my side. I said, hey, it's okay, man. So he, at gunpoint, with a gun in my side, shoved me over the soundboard. I shut it off. I said, what's going on? You know, I'm just the sound guy here. What's up? You know, and so the cops came flooding in. They came in and basically just shut the place down, took the club managers, I guess, to jail or whatever, and they let me go basically. But I think that was the last of it that I knew about of the island. So it became other things after that. But the funny thing is, I remember coming out the front door, and the Houston police had the whole street shut down, which I thought was kind of strange. You know, that was kind of odd. You know, that they would shut the street down to close a club down or whatever it was. There were, you know, the idea that was there. Also, these undercover guys stole the microphones I had, which were donated by that guy. So it was kind of like, you know, what's all this about? You know, I thought that was not right, and wanted to complain to City Hall, but I was a punk kid that, you know, I thought, how far am I going to get with that? You know.
He goes, get the fuck out of the car, punk. Have a good time walking back to the fucking island. True fucking story. Wow. True story. Where the fuck you been? I go, you know, I could have been taken to the bayou, like, you know, they chop people up, you know, those cops back then, man.
You know, I'd been waiting all my life for punk to happen. It was fast. It was satirical. It was it had social meaning, and it was cultural. You know, we had to drag the culture kicking and screaming into the 70s and 80s because it was pretty moribund and especially in this town, you know, very hung up in the 50s and 60s.
It was a big melting pot of the counterculture, and I think all those people contributed to making I feel like this is where it all came together. At the same time, nowhere else, nothing else. The punk bands didn't get to play anywhere else, really.
Well,
everything kind of came together, I think, in 1980 for what exists now in Houston.
And then the Dead Kennedys show, like in '82, I think that was, where it was just so freaking hot. I just remember being really hot, and the cops had pulled out in front of the island, and everybody was freaking out. So East Bay Ray was like, "Oh, well, where's the nearest intersection from here?" And someone said, "Well, the nearest intersection is Main and Richmond." So he goes, "What's the number to the HPD?" So he calls HPD and says, "Yeah, there's a robbery going on at the corner of Richmond and Main, and it's happening right now. Y'all need to send somebody over here." Right after that, the cop cars just took off from in front of the island, took off and went, and then they just unloaded all their gear. So it was just funny because we were like, I think Ronnie Bond said something like, "Well, that's what we do here in Texas too, you know."
And I ended up going to the island one night with some people, and I went, you know what, they'll let me play original music. And so,
yeah, that was it. Just that was the epitome of creativity and original music and cool bands from everywhere. You know, like he said, I've seen all these clubs with these cover bands. I ever wanted to do. I always wanted to just make stuff up. So I was pretty much in awe.
You're still making stuff up.
I'm still making stuff. I'm making this up.
I was young and angry, and I liked to fight, man. So I used to go in there just to get beat up in there.
DRI, they were 16-year-old kids, and they had little T-shirts on, and they needed a place to practice because their dad called them dirty, rotten imbeciles because they made too much noise. So he let them, JR let them practice in his garage, and so we'd look in the door, and they played real fast. Boy, these kids play real fast, you know. So we'd look in the door at them, and they look and see what we were doing, but they were having a blast, you know. And they went on to just keep doing that and did real well, you know.
Well, once we went on tour and we started playing different clubs, you compare them to the island because that was like our home stomping ground or whatever, where we played a lot, you know. So you'd say, well, this is worse than the island, or this is better than the island. The island was, you know, kind of in the middle. It was kind of in the middle. I mean, we played a lot of people's, even going on tour, we played a lot of people's like bedrooms and houses and backyard parties and stuff. And of course, that was worse than the island. We played clubs the size of the island and smaller and worse than the island and better than the island. It's still like, for me, it's still the comparison point, you know, because we played there so many times and everything. I remember just what it was like.
It made me understand that could actually play shows and have fun doing it, maybe, you know, make a career out of it. It showed us that we could do what these bands were doing, coming through all the time and playing, you know, headlining. It was what we wanted to do. It's like, you know, we wanted to go on tour and everything, and playing the island just showed us that these bands can do it, so why not us? And we just pushed ourselves to try to do it too, and we did it.
One, two, three, four.
always you're driving me as more than death. And now I'm being so used, feeling like a tool, left-hand friend. And nothing makes you sleep on like somebody who will keep you when you're down, dying dead. Keep your head down, keep your head down, keep your head down, keep driving. Keep your head down, keep your head down, keep your head down, stop the line. Alive and move, alive and move. Just like a badge, where's its top? I'd like to blow you in a whistle and slow you to a stop. I'm feeling super shallow and so paper's thin. You're scared like that's the place where my heart's over. Feel so good, like a tool with a left-hand friend. And nothing makes you think when there's somebody who will kick you when you're down, dying dead. Keep your head down, keep your head down, keep your head down. She's been alive and move. Keep your head down, keep your head down, keep your head down, and jump alive and move. Alive and move. Tool like a stool with left-hand threads. And nothing makes you sick like somebody who will kick you when you're down, dying dead. Keep your head down, keep your head down, keep your head down, spit live and move. Keep your head down, keep your head down, keep your head down, jump alive and move. Alive and move. Alive and move. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the show. It's going to be fan-fucking-tastic! Yes, people, and now there's no way. I turn around and stuck in my head. You don't understand. I'm so and he said, Confusion of convention. Can you feel the tension? You get my legislative tension at the constitutional convention. Or you just might get some liberty in the land of the free. What's a modern day for? With cold cash. Can you afford the laws that will be good to you? Laws are what I pay for. With cold cash. Can you afford the laws that will be good to you? To watch your car. It's so consumed by apathy. I can't get no satisfaction. Why don't you buy me a beer? Somebody give me a break. But I can't see me wasting my time. Just use the street. You say it's too hot for a revolution. Why just use the street? You say it's too hot for a revolution. The revolution has come and gone. Whatever happened to you? Like boys, ready to go. The things you were going to do. Buy a new house and boats. I know. But I don't really care. You say it's too hot for revolution. Why don't you in the street? You say it's too hot for revolution. But the revolution has come and gone and passed you by. It's too hot for too hot for revolution. It's too hot for revolution. It's too hot for revolution. I still see it's so cheap. Take over life and why don't you get together? Work in something that I said. Why don't you in the street? You say it's too hot for revolution. Why don't you in the street? You say it's too hot for revolution. But the revolution has come and gone. Look at your mama prayers, they gon' look up and watch now. Automatic, you can just push it on the floor. I have to believe no single goddamn floor. Rock about solution, rock from revolution, we're trying to evolution, it's more than that. People on the guard like sacrificial pause. Rather I hear nothing here to recite. Bow down, bow down, bow down. It's my machine. Just a bunch of clouds. Ourselves away. Just another parasite will take it to the grave. Like a solution, the people that are not like sacrificial part. But I have nothing to do inside. Bow down. It's my machine. Thank you. Good evening. Appreciate it.
Big black truck, I buy my girlfriend pretty, thinks she writes my name on bathroom walls. We
Thank you, thank you.
But certainly for me, I felt very different. I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in high school. And when I got to the island, it was like I found my tribe, you know, my punk rock tribe of weirdos. And it was so great. I mean, there was this, we didn't always get along, you know, we fought sometimes, we said nasty things about each other. But somehow still underneath all that, there was this tribal sense of community and love, you know, and we stuck around and we worked it out for the most part. And anything was possible. That was the cool thing. When you got there, half the bands were terrible. We were terrible. But it didn't matter, you know what I mean? We just came and we came together. And it didn't matter whether the music was good, none of that. I mean, the music was important in the end, but weirdly, it wasn't the most important thing, not to me. It was that feeling of belonging and community that I think I had longed for all my life, and I found it there. And so I'll always love the island because it was home. That's it.
I know there's more that know that song. Come on. Our last hurrah! I'm gonna die probably next week. I want you to be able to say that you're on the stage. Nicky Sicky, Jerry Hammerby, and others, soon to be jailbirds.
Thank you, David. Yeah, thanks everybody who puts this together, David and everybody else. Kevin Jackson for starting the Facebook page.
So he drove me and Mike Maggot over to the curb and made us grind everything we had into the curb and let us go. And we walked in and there was Phil Hicks going, "Opening night and you're already trying to get us busted? What are you doing?" So that was one of my favorite memories there, was getting away twice from not going to jail at the island. And the first one having Phil just doing a meltdown. Beautiful guy. I miss Phil Hicks.